Oh man, I'm in Narita Airport, and I've got adventures with trying to keep my bag under the 7 kilograms that it needs to be, so I don't have to pay for baggage check. It's like my whole body is like covered in hidden items, so that my bag will stay light, and then after I get through the initial check, I got my laptop strapped to my back, again hidden underneath all my coats, but I can't sit in the plane with my laptop against my back, so hopefully I can sneakily, after I'm weighed, get my laptop into my bag. I don't know, it's fucking annoying, but I'll talk about that when I get to Fukuoka. I just wanted to hop on my little phone real quick to say that I'm sticking with my plan of dehydrating on flights, and this isn't so bad. I'm at the airport 2 hours and the flight's 2 hours. It's not that long of a time not to drink water, but I still think it's better that I don't, just so I can avoid having to bother people on the flight to go pee. But there's this Nescafe machine right in front of me. I was saying how much I like those machines where the little cup drops down, and they fill the little cup with stuff. This thing is like my fucking dream. It has so many different types, and then you can choose the level of cream and the amount of sugar and even the amount of coffee. So I want to put it to maximum coffee and 3/4 cream or half cream maybe, and just 1 little sugar. If even. Maybe I would do no sugar. I want to experiment with this fucking machine so bad. But that's the super opposite of drinking water. I can't drink coffee. I'll be peeing all over the place, but I just had to say it, man. I just had to get it in the podcast. This machine looks so fun. I want to drink coffee out of this fucking stupid machine. I wonder if they have one in the Fukuoka airport. That's the other thing. It's not even like expensive. It's not like how airport stuff in North America, it'll just destroy your soul paying for anything. These are like $1.70. Yeah, maybe in the Fukuoka airport. I'll keep my eyes peeled. Maybe they have a machine like this. Oh, I suppose too. This is so stupid. When I come back from Fukuoka in 3 weeks, if I remember, I could come get this coffee then. God, this is all so insane. Why don't I just get the coffee? I clearly want the coffee really bad. It's 1:30 now. The flight leaves at 3:30. But the problem is, they'll start shuffling us in early. Like, I'll be stuck where I can't go to a washroom. This would perfectly time out to force me to pee on the flight. It's not worth it. I'm not going to do it. But I just want everyone to know that I'm in spiritual pain. Welly, 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 what do we have here? This is a different machine, but I'm in the Fukuoka airport now. And it's a fancy as shit fucking machine. This is a Coke on. Although I don't know, is that the real Coca-Cola? Okay, it is. Something to do with Coke, but this is a coffee machine. All right, let's get creamy cafe latte. I'm gonna do this one hot, because I might get an ice after this. 3 beans. I don't know what that means. Sugar. 0 sugar. Okay, it doesn't seem like I choose cream level is predetermined. Plus 10 yen for cocoa or 10 for caramel. Caramel, please. 160 yen. Now, I think I can use my transit card, my Suica card, to pay for it. Holy fuck balls. Let everybody know I got $129 on this thing. It's a little weird that it shows how much money you've got. Not that anyone cares. And now, while it's doing that, it's going to take 45 seconds. I'm also going to get a bottle of water from the other machine because I am fucking parched. Suntory mineral water. Don't mind if I do. Oh, this feels so good. It's so good to arrive. The dehydrating is worth it for me. I just sat through that whole flight, not a fucking worry ever that I'd have to get up and use the bathroom. I even went to the washroom, the first one as we got out of the plane, because I just assumed I always have to go to the washroom. And there was a bit of a line, so I didn't want to take too long, but I didn't even. Gave the old push, a few little pushes to the old dick, and nothing was coming out. So I was like, all right. I really am dehydrated. Holy balls. I'll take it. And I don't feel too terrible because that's a short flight. Less than 2 hours? Jesus, though, this is so hot. I can feel my fingers got burned a little from holding that cup. All right, let's try this fucking thing. Oh, I can see the little caramel on top that I paid 10 cents for. Oh, that's really nice. God damn, I am just a trash person. I just love airport coffee. I'm so excited to get the little cup and the coffee. This is Georgia coffee, by the way. At least the cup says. Are they affiliated with Coca-Cola? Or is this all just a confusing mess of shit? But yeah, the no sugar was the right call. Because the little bit of caramel is delicious. And I have these coffee candies that I got from some people at my Airbnb. Geez, now there's a high-pitched buzzing. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to finish drinking this, and then I'm going to get an iced matcha from that same machine. But I'm going to get outside because this place is fucking noisy. Oh my God, after no coffee all day, it's 5:30 now. Fucking fuck, that feels good. I made the right choice, though. It's a good thing I didn't do this on the other end. Test. Let's see if I can get away with talking to myself in a Family Mart without it seeming too weird. Ooh, I'm more wiped than I thought I was. I mean, I haven't eaten since this morning. All I had was a bag of chips and some sweet and sour plum things that were pretty good. But man, I think I'm a lot more tuckered than I thought I was, because I'm losing my mind at Google Maps. I am truly coming to hate this fucking thing. The offline Google Maps is so shit if you're a pedestrian. I mean, I'm still glad to have the GPS stuff and it's good in general, but holy shit, all I want is my blue dot and the little green dot of where I'm trying to get to. That's all. And I mean, if you could draw some directions, a little direction line, that'd be nice, but apparently you can only do that in a car. I don't know why. But man, you can just tell nobody has tried using Google Maps extensively while they're walking around, because Jesus, just trying to maneuver it with a thumb. And if you accidentally touch the wrong spot at the wrong time, it brings up some random ass fucking shit that I do not need and do not care about, which then eradicates everything you've set up before, and it's just so frustrating. I yelled at my phone. I finally just snapped. I'm like, fuck you, why are you doing this? What is this that's on screen? Just what a garbage. There needs to be a pedestrian version of Google Maps, offline Google Maps specifically. Oh, the thing is driving me fucking nuts. But anyway, I'm at Family Mart. I got a ham cutlet sandwich and a yogurt drink. Plain yogurt, but it's very sweet, of course. And some kind of really fat onigiri. So since this is pretty obnoxious to record in here while I'm eating, let me just do that part. I'll just test out the onigiri. Let's just see what's inside this thing, because I didn't bother translating it. I'm like, let's just find out. I was afraid maybe it would just be like one of the seaweed ones, but it's like a ton of stuff. It looks kind of like tuna, and it looks kind of like the seaweed, and it looks kind of like the beef. But it may be none of those things. Maybe I do need to translate it. I don't know what the heck's in this. Oh, there was an English thing. I didn't see it. So yeah, it is seaweed, cod roe, and mayo. So yeah, it is in fact what I thought. Cool, it's not bad. All right, well, I'm just going to get this in me so I won't be a cranky little baby boy. And I got a bunch of crap to talk about, but I still want to talk about that matcha latte I got out of that machine. I want to talk about coffee some more. But I'll wait till I eat this, and then I got to get off. I'm on a pretty major street. I got about a 2-hour walk ahead of me through Fukuoka, because I just walked from the airport because I basically just tried to get an Airbnb as close to Aburiyama Mountain, which is in the south of Fukuoka, as close as I could. Specifically, I wanted to get to Umebayashi Station. I couldn't get one that far west, but that's actually good in this case. But yeah, none of the... Fukuoka is interesting because the airport is really close to downtown. There were some airplanes flying over me. It was like Wayne's World. Like, they were right there. It's kind of cool, like going right over my head. So it's only one stop on the subway to get to the airport, from whatever, one of the major stations. It's like really convenient. But in this case, every stop on the subway would only take me away from where I'm going. I'd have to take a bus. And I don't mind a 2-hour walk. Fuck it. It's a shame that it's dark out. But actually, that's kind of cool too. I'll get into that later too. So I got to walk ahead of me. I just got to get off the major street, and it'll be fine. Have a nice little mosey to my Airbnb. Got my little check-in code. What's the hurry? All right, that's the report from Family Mart. All right, my little Bluetooth headphones that I bought at Hard Off, finally the battery died for the first time ever. But not bad, because it's about 8 p.m., a little past 8. And I've been using them more or less continuously since about 10 o'clock this morning. So not bad. And now I got them recharging in my little pack. So after I yammer for a bit, they'll be good to go again. Those things are sweet. So yeah, let's try to podcast, although this means putting my book bag on my back rather than using the wheels, so we'll see. But yeah, geez, I feel so much better. Obviously doing, I guess it is pretty extreme dehydration when after a 2-hour flight, I go to the washroom and I don't have to pee. Anyone who's listened to any episodes of this podcast, it's always about peeing. So that's fucking wild. I was seriously dehydrated and also just didn't eat. And what an age we live in that I don't have to worry about food for survival. Like, oh, if I don't get some food, I'm going to die. All that matters is that it's like, oh no, I'm going to be cranky if I don't get some food. So here's some advice that literally no one will need. No one but future me. Because no one but me habitually tries to walk from the fucking airport. Oh man, this restaurant has eels. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's weird. It's like got a tank full of eels, and then it's got this fish that is so big. Probably tuna, right? I think tuna grows to the size of whatever it's in. That I somehow didn't see the tuna because it was too big. My brain didn't know that was a fish. But yeah, again, it's just a navigational lesson that I've learned many times in the course of this trip. That closer isn't closer. I was looking at Hakata Station and I'm like, okay, but that's away from the direction I'm going. I want to go south. And Hakata is a bit north of the airport. But ease of pedestrian access is really what matters. Japan is extremely good for pedestrians. I mean, it's the best place I've ever been for being a pedestrian. But it's not ambiguous about that. When you're in a part that's not for pedestrians, it is seriously not for pedestrians. Because, they're like, we got trucks, man. We got trucks that need to go places. We set up all these subways for you. Why are you here? Why are you walking here? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm wrong to be here. Happened in Chiba. Happened in Fukuoka. Yeah, it was so difficult to get away from the airport because even though it's really close to all the major, I'm still going to say downtown, even though I heard that that's the wrong term, that maybe in Japan downtown means the old town. But the North American downtown, the happening area where everything's going on. The airport's really close to it, but getting away from the airport is a lot of big industrial shipping yards and, I don't know, just factory stuff. So as I was squirming my way through that, I walked past Hakata Station. That's where I was finally like, oh, okay, now from here I can just walk down a normal street with everybody else, and I'm not obstructed constantly with big fences and stuff. So I could have just gone to Hakata in the first place, it still would have been faster. So just in general, just don't walk from the airport. It's dumb to walk from the airport. I gotta stop trying to do this. It's not paying off. I mean, I guess the experiment is worth experimenting with. What if I found some travel hack? Hey, travel hack, just walk from the airport. But no, it's fucking stupid. Oh, this seems like a bad idea. Not only is this book bag ridiculously heavy, but I'm on a busy street and I don't have an option to get off it because I gotta go across a canal. But my very smart, important thoughts, I'll just burn through these real fast. That Family Mart I was at, it's only the second time that a bathroom has kind of smelled bad in Japan. That one smelled like pee a lot. And both times have been Family Mart. So, I got my eye on you, Family Mart. But no, it's obviously just a coincidence. And I've been here a month. And there's only been 2 times that a Combini washroom was kind of bad. So, I mean, that's I'll take that rate. Every 2 weeks, one of them is slightly not perfect. That's all right. And I was reminded by my friend Brad, because he was here, he was taking a language course when COVID hit. So he stayed longer because the borders were shut down. And it was an option to stay and easier to stay, so he got to stay longer in Japan, but it was obviously weird COVID Japan. And he was saying how all the Combini bathrooms were closed, which makes sense. I mean, it's the logical thing to do in COVID times. But man, that would suck. That would fuck me right up. What would I do without those washrooms? Though as I say those words, I realize suddenly that it's the least relevant thing to be worried about during a global pandemic. Who the fuck gives a shit? It's just the goddamn washrooms of the Combini. But okay, last dumb thought until I get to a quieter neighborhood is the matcha. I got a matcha latte from that machine in the airport, and it was so good. And for 50 yen extra, I got a large. And it was at the point where you can choose sweetness, which is like the greatest. I love being able to reduce the sweetness on drinks. But when I used to be a barista, I learned that matcha lattes, it is good to have a little sugar. Straight up matcha is pretty bitter. So I was about to set the sugar level to 1 out of 3. But then I thought, no, let's just do 0 and see what happens. And it was delicious. It was still sweet. Because it's Japan. I don't know if there was sweetness in the milk. Probably. There might have been sweetness in the ice. I don't fucking know. But it was really goddamn good. I love those dumb machines at the fucking airport. It's a great example of the good parts of a lowbrow life. You know, if you just like convenience store stuff and you just like coffee from the drink machine at the airport, it's easy to be pleased, you know? Developing a taste for the finer things is probably not a good path to go down. Man, these canals are very nice, by the way, in downtown Fukuoka. It was the first thing I saw. You know, obviously, you get off at the airport. You normally take the subway from the airport rather than walk like I did. So you immediately come out in this area, and there's all the water and all the lights reflecting off the water. It's fucking very nice. But all right, that was so important that I said that shit, that dumb, pointless shit. Now let me wait till I get actually out of central Fukuoka so it can be quieter. Whew. I'm all checked in. That one was tricky. It's almost 10 o'clock, and maybe this is like getting to be a recurring thing. The benefit and the curse of Google Maps. I was just trying to follow the blue dot, and it's a really complicated neighborhood, like they all are. But this one especially is multiple layers, you know, up a hill. Like the people behind me are up a hill from where I am. Like their houses start where this house ends. That's how hilly it is. So if I got turned around, I couldn't cut through anywhere. You know, just tough. So eventually I just had to, the guy sent me a series of pictures. So I went to where the bus stop would have been if I had taken the bus, and I just had to very carefully follow all the pictures, which were daytime pictures. That now it's night. It was tricky, but I got it. I figured it out. I'm in. And this place seems pretty cool. It's I think it's a new Airbnb because the listing here says opening super price. So I think I got a better deal because it's new. I don't remember the exact prices of these places I'm staying in Fukuoka, but they're not super cheap. I think about $45 a night or so. I'll check in the future to see how much they were. But they're entire apartments. So this one, definitely the apartment itself, very old. And there's like the little gas burner, single range portable stove hooked up to some gas, which I shall not be using. And then the fan that is so classic, just old weird Japanese movies and stuff. You always see the fan running in old restaurants and stuff. But it's a very old building. It's got the classic doorways that come to just above my eyebrows, perfect for smashing your head on. But what's kind of cool is when you hear people describe apartments by tatami, that's what this one is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6 tatami room. Sliding door that I think just goes to outside. I'll mess with that tomorrow. And there's all the futon stuff over here in the corner, ready to be set up. But then it's got the air conditioner / heater thing in the corner and the flat screen. And for once, miraculously, there's actually a washing machine. Or I keep thinking there's washing machines and there isn't. And a tiny fridge, which is brand new. I will take advantage of that because I bought at 7-Eleven on the way here. I found this little thing I'd never seen before that is just a plastic cup with little cubes of cheesecake and a little plastic sword to stab them with, and it's fucking delicious. But it's so rich that I only ate 2 of the cheesecake cubes. It's like, that'll last me. Like those $10 fancy chocolates I bought out of the fancy machine in Akiruno, those lasted me over a week because so rich. Oh, and here's little disposable slippers. These are personal slippers. After using these slippers, you may take them with you. I never use the slippers. I just walk around in my socks, but I guess it would seem weird if I never open up the slippers. So you know what? I'm going to use the slippers in this apartment. And I wouldn't normally. I would just use my socks, but I guess that's Canadian style. We do take off our shoes when we enter a house, but the slipper thing is a step further than we normally do, unless it's winter and it's freezing on the floors. And here we go, cheesecake cubes. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cubes left, so it's like 9 or 10 cubes in here for 324 yen, and they're fucking very good. Pop those bad boys in the fridge. I got some more of the sour dried plums that are crazy sour. I find sweet and sour plums are actually pretty edible, pretty tasty. Sour plums are just fun because they're so fucking sour. But any of the plums that are not sour, those I don't care for as much. But anyway, yeah, there is a washing machine, just no dryer. But the sink is a bit more of that 70s style sink. Here, let's check out the washroom. The audio tour. So it is toilet and shower together, not separate, because this place is very small, just not a lot of room. And no bidet. Very sad, but that's okay. Yeah, this place is fucking cool. This is sweet. But alright, even though it's a bit late, now that I'm here, I do have some things I want to yammer about. So, I'm gonna go for a little stroll. Join me, shall you? Shan't you? Won't you? Alright, going for a walk in the new neighborhood. This feels pretty good. So, there was a time in 2019 when I was visiting my friend Brad here in Fukuoka, where we were hanging out. He lived down by Hakata Station, which is where I walked from again today. But we were just hanging out, and it's like the trains do stop relatively early in Japan. And it was like, last train, almost time for the last train. But yeah, we're hanging out, it's fun, I just don't wanna. And it was, it's pretty damn warm now. I think it was 17 degrees today. Now it's a little colder. I got a little hoodie on, but I was wearing a t-shirt for a lot of the journey tonight. So in the summertime, it was fucking hot as fuck. And I decided, fuck it, I'll just walk home. Whatever. Forget the train, who cares? And I was staying at Umebayashi Station, which is pretty far. And of course, as I've chronicled many times, it was different in how I navigated, where I had a really cheap cell phone. So whatever GPS capabilities it had were real shitty at best. You could not download a Google map of Japan at that time for whatever reason. But there was Wi-Fi at all the convenience stores, which there no longer is. So I just walked. I just walked and walked and walked for hours. I mean, Fukuoka's not that big. Like, it's bigger than my hometown of Fredericton, but a bit similar in that if you just pick a point and then pick another point and you want to walk there, in my hometown it would probably take pretty much 3 hours. They'll get you wherever you want to go. If not for, extreme locations. Where I think with Fukuoka, it's like maybe 4. If you put a solid couple hours in, you can pretty much walk wherever you gotta walk. It's not that big. I think it's the 5th most populous city in Japan, but don't quote me on that. It's just not quite big enough to be famous, It's not Tokyo, it's not Osaka, it's not Kyoto. And I remember that being quite a bit more like what this is right now. I started drifting southwest, and I pretty quickly, wasn't this quiet I guess, but it was pretty quiet for most of the walk. And I was just kind of vaguely stumbling around and then recalibrating at convenience stores. So it took a long time. It took late into the night. I got there like 3 a.m. or something. But it was one of my cherished 2019 Japan memories. I'm like, that was great though. Just to ramble through a Japanese city at night. Fucking fun. So I thought maybe this would be a bit like that. Except with all my luggage. But first off, yeah, it's not fun to travel with luggage. So that was a problem. But pretty much the whole walk here, which was a good thing for these purposes, was just pretty much straight south, more or less, from Hakata. So it was all major streets. I passed 2 McDonald's to get here. So that's handy if I need major stuff. Lots of major stuff not far from here. But this final stretch, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen. Because much like what I discovered in Ekiruno, that you just go a little bit off the beaten path and you're kind of in nowhere, you're in the country all of a sudden. And that even happened to me in Chiba when I went to the Midden Mound, the Shell Mound. And then I found this just small river, this creek or whatever, probably a river by standards of Japan. Call it a river. That was just like overgrown with like a path next to it. It's like, fuck, I'm just in the countryside. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden you're back in the city. So that's happened here too. I just had to get a little bit away from the major streets. And now I am in Quietsville. So over by Umebayashi, it was right by the mountains. So you could also get into Natureville right away. I don't think that's going to happen here. I'll have a little hike ahead of me, but this is perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Because I like Fukuoka, I like the city part, but I have a feeling I might not go there a ton. I think I'm going to go the opposite direction most of the time. Yeah, and the Airbnb was also a similar situation to some of the other Airbnbs I've gotten where, in the 2019 trip, it was pre-COVID. I could just kind of sort by cheapest and let the chips fall where they may, and it pretty much worked out. Where Fukuoka is kind of a perfect example of what has happened this time, where I kind of actively don't want to be in the center. I don't want to be down by Hakata Station. I'll just head down there if I want to. But most of the time, I'd rather be here. This is actually like eerily calm. That's why I'm talking so quietly. I don't want to bother the neighborhood. This is fucking quiet as fuck. But all of the cheaper places to stay are not off the beaten path. They're all like by Hakata Station. And you can get hostel type communal places for like $30 a night, which is okay. But when I was getting places like that in 2019, it was like cheaper than that. It was like $23 or $24 a night. So it's up a little, but it's not that bad. But the location is just kind of unappealing to me because I'm a weirdo. But I guess it makes sense economically. Even though I would prefer a hostel that's off in the middle of nowhere, who else would go there? So of course no one does that. But it seemed counterintuitive to me at first. Like, why are these places in such good locations? Why can't I find one in the middle of nowhere? Geez, I'm just checking my pocket for my my phone with a good GPS. It's like, already I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm just walking through these back streets of this neighborhood. There's not a soul anywhere. And it's twisty and turny. Oh, I think there's someone on a bicycle. And just as I said that, it's like the Truman Show. He's noticing there's no one. Send someone. Oh, but despite this extreme quietude, there is a Family Mart right around the corner from my place. And I think I see one up ahead too. Just perfect. So perfect. But yeah, communal bunk type situations are not my favorite. And in fact, oh no, there's just a parking lot up here, but hey, whatever. But yeah, in fact, the reason I liked the communal place so much by Naka Itabashi was because it was so unpopular and I was mostly there by myself. Or even Norihiko's place, as amazing as that was, it did not hurt that he had the capacity for 4 people. He had 4 bunks, but it was just me. That place was so good that having other people in there would be fine. But yeah, just being that close to other humans, I don't love it. But yeah, it was basically a price increase of degrees here, just like at the other Airbnbs I've stayed at so far where, wow, here's a shrine I've never seen. A shrine type I've never seen before. It's like a little building, but with an open front. Even though it's past 10 at night, the light's on. There's a bench right in front of it. There's a little place to burn incense. There's 4 different Buddha statues. What offerings do we have today? Candies, a bunch of various candy offerings. Here's the little... Man, again, it's just miraculous. Like, here's a little broom to sweep up things. And there's even matches and candles. It is just... You just couldn't do this in Canada. There's just no fucking way. And yeah, as you can hear now, there's some traffic. I'm a little more near a street. There's like a park here. But anyway, yeah, it's the gradual increase, like boiling the frog, where I was like, all right, back in 2019, the place I got by Umebayashi Station. I mean, again, it's quote unquote out of the way. But for me, I loved that location. I loved it so fucking much. But there is nothing there. If you didn't enjoy hiking up the mountain, you'd have no reason to be there. It would just be an inconvenience to have to travel 13 stops into town. But I loved it. And that place was less than $30 a day. I think it was 27 or 28. It does not an Airbnb anymore. So it's extra now for the hostel situation that I didn't want. But then I found this place and another very similar place, both less than $50 a night, but in the mid to high 40s. Because it's just, once you move the watermark, if $30 is the watermark now, what's an extra $15 a day to have a 6 tatami apartment? All for me, that's so much better. And like the reviews of the hostel places, they weren't terrible, but there'd just be weird stuff. Like there was this girl who said, while she was trying to sleep, some drunk Japanese guy came and tried to get in her bunk. And it was because they had double booked. They don't just book through Airbnb. There's like hostel.com or whatever other thing. So the drunk Japanese guy wasn't wrong. It was the people running the place fucked up. And just various little stories like that. And it's just like, I don't even want to risk that. That just sounds like, that sucks. And I think I was proven pretty right by the first place I stayed in Sengenjaya. That place was just a disaster. It was like fucking so annoying being so close to everybody, and then it had fucking bed bugs, and it's just like, fuck all this. It's definitely worth a little more money to just upgrade your experience literally 100-fold. And being out here in the middle of nowhere, to me, is way better. So it's win-win. I try to keep things cheap, but there's just a limit to how cheap you can keep things before you're just sacrificing the experience, And it's still all relative. I mean, I think most people would still consider $40-some a day pretty good, because I think I mentioned this before, but Airbnb, every time I log into the app, they're pitching me these fucking $700 a night chalets and stuff. Like, have you considered this? It's like, are you fucking crazy? What are you talking about? But there's a lot of places like that. So the quick Fukuoka primer is, it's in the south. It's the southern island of Japan, Kyushu, where there are wild boars, but there are no bears. It's noticeably warmer. Japan is so interesting because it's so small. It's like the size of California, right? But down here, it's like all beach, seaside, tropical shit. But apparently if you head up north, it's the biggest snowfalls in the world. It's like, man, they got everything here. They're like 2 inches away on the map from freaking Russia if you go up north. And I was not aware of Fukuoka, but it's a little weird that I wasn't in hindsight, because there's these 3 blonde Canadian women who I was watching on YouTube a lot. There was Michaela, Charla in Japan, and Taylor R. All Canadian, all blonde, all with a vibe that I enjoyed. Good old Canadianness. Because even just to paint with a broad stroke, but I think Taylor R. was the most kind of artificial initially. She really just wanted to be like a J-pop girl, learning little weird dances and wearing kawaii outfits and stuff. But as she went on, the Canadianness just couldn't help but come out. Her voice got deeper, her whole demeanor got more relaxed, and it was just like, whatever, fuck it, let's just chill and hang out. You can take the girl out of Canada, you can't take the Canada out of the girl. So Michaela, she lives around here in Fukuoka, and I just had never clocked that at all. I guess I didn't watch every single video from these people, just, I'd pick and choose here and there. I'm in a neighborhood now with apartment buildings, so I feel like I can talk louder. Just past like a supermarket, there's a drink machine. That neighborhood I was in before was like residential with a capital resident with no residents. Like a fucking ghost town. It's scary. But yeah, then when my friend Brad came to Japan for a language course, that finally got my gumption up. It's like, oh, sweet, now I know somebody in Japan, It was always in the back of my mind. I just never could get my shit together enough to go. And in a weird way, I don't really regret it. I don't really regret that I didn't come to Japan earlier, because I feel like the 2019 trip, despite losing my passport and the weird shit that happened, and this trip, despite whatever, it's gone pretty smooth this time, only tiny weird shit happening, these have just been so kind of perfect. It's like, if I had come earlier, I wouldn't have had those experiences. And I just legitimately wasn't ready to travel by myself till I was a middle-aged man. I kind of was practicing traveling by myself with like Canada and stuff. But I feel like Japan kind of came at the right time. Before then, Toronto was plenty interesting. Man, what was that? I just heard like a clanging and there's just nobody there. Man, ghost stories, dude. I know I've said this before too, but yeah, if you just walk around Japan at night, you will understand Japanese horror way better. It's like no fucking wonder they have these wild ideas about shit. Everything is just spooky. But yeah, when I was younger, Toronto was like super interesting, and Montreal was super interesting, and Vancouver was super interesting, and New York was fucking difficult, but certainly not uninteresting. All that stuff was fine. That was plenty enough to interest my brain. I don't even know what I would have fucking done if I came to Japan when I was like 21. It would have blown my fucking brains into pieces. See, I think coming here in my late 30s was like just at the right time. Just when I was like, all right, I kind of made the loop of North America pretty good. I guess I could, I'd go to like Austin or something. Or I could go to California. I'm sure that would be interesting to some degree. But it's about time to shake things up. I need a little more interesting stimulation, and I'm ready to jump the hurdles to get it. And Japan is still the easiest one because I just grew up with video games and anime, Just feels weird, and it doesn't feel that weird at the same time. That's my side rant about it's never too late to travel, kids. In some ways, it's kind of better. Physically, it's not better. Jesus, that flight today from Fukuoka is only a 2-hour flight, thank God, but my legs did not fit. My knees did not fit. But mentally, it's neat to travel when you're, well, I guess it depends. I don't know. I really hope, I hope the reason people are always surprised when they find out how old I am, that I'm like 43. And I don't think it's physically. I don't think it's because I look particularly young. I definitely look like I'm at least 36 or 37. I think it's just because I don't act like it. I try not to anyway. I try to, for all my introvertedness and definitely have some curmudgeon-y opinions, but I try not to let them rule me, I hope I'm still relatively open to stuff. But anyway, Brad was here, so I'm like, perfect. But I just presumed he would go to Tokyo, because that's all I know about Japan, or knew of it, really, is Tokyo. So he's like, no, I'm going to Fukuoka. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Fukuoka? What? What is this? And he said, like, that's where Michaela lives. And I was like, oh, really? Shit, I missed out on that somehow. How did I? And then it turns out, yeah, once you realize that, it's like, oh, yeah, this lady has like a fucking million videos about Fukuoka. Just somehow didn't clock it. It's the same way, I guess I thought I never heard of Ikebukuro before, but I probably did, because once you know about it, it seems like there's a video about Ikebukuro every fucking third day. But I guess when you don't realize, or you don't have like some reason for a name to stick in your mind, then it just bounces off, or it does for me. So I did the Fukuoka sandwich, where I went to Tokyo, then I came here to Fukuoka, then I went back to Tokyo. But yeah, that's the basic, how did I end up in Fukuoka? And next time I come to Japan, I will be interested to explore around more and try some other things. But for now, I was like, I know Fukuoka. I know how it works. It's got like, I haven't checked if they've upgraded it since, but, like the subway is like 2 lines. It's like just small. Like I was saying, you could walk, even if I walked from my Airbnb by the mountains, I could walk north to the shoreline in like an afternoon. But it does have a bit of a different vibe because it's farther south and it is more coastal. And you can actually go to the coast and hang out there. It's not like Chiba where it's like good luck fighting through the factories. So yeah, it's safe to say, like in one sense, I feel like maybe any city you go to in Japan, there's going to be a lot of commonalities. It kind of probably doesn't matter too much where you go. They're all going to be good. But the unique aspects of Fukuoka are very nice. I definitely wanted to come back, even though Brad is now back in Canada and I'm here all alone now. And yeah, I'm sure I'll get into it more as I mosey around. But I guess, yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about, today's adventure, was getting here. So this Peach Airlines, they're a domestic airline. And that's just what I took last time, and I remember it going relatively okay, but I did have minor problems with the baggage. Like, I had the exact same book bag as I do now, and they had like this book bag, will it fit in this space little test you had to do at the airport. And as long as I took all the items out of the front pouch, my book bag just barely fit. So it's like, okay. And I just don't remember specifically what I did back then, but I knew weight was an issue. And I'm pretty sure I just did a sleight of hand where I put it in the waiter thing, but I still had my hand on the top and I just held it. It doesn't sound like something I would do or that I would have the wherewithal or the sneakiness to do. But I did something. Somehow I got through that process initially in 2019 without having to pay for the extra baggage. Ooh, supermarket jingle. Also, what the heck time is it here? Yeah, it's like 10:41. This place is still open. Maybe it's 24-hour. That's pretty cool. Actually, I walked by a Book Off on the way here, and I was going to go test out the music thing again. But it was, again, like right before closing. So I'd probably just go in and hear some fucking Old Lang Syne again. I didn't get to do the test. But yeah, one recurring theme on this trip has been that I don't know, I've got so many. Like before it was 3 Airbnbs. Now I got 9. Ooh, laundromat. There's my favorite sound, laundry. And now I'm on a more major street, obviously, because there's a supermarket. Still, though, I think this is nice because it's lit. It's like a nice street, but there is just nobody here. This is great because the whole walk here, I was like, fuck, like this is just major streets the whole way. This is kind of not what I was signing up for. But yeah, no, this is what I wanted. There's fucking nothing going on around here. It's awesome. Yeah, but there are still buses going by. I've never taken a bus in Japan. No, that's not true. I took a bus once to get to Hasawa Falls with Brad. Never taken a bus by myself. It's probably, just like everything, probably not that big a deal. But today was a perfect example of my usual mindset. Like, take a bus. Why take a 30-minute bus ride when I don't quite know how it works or exactly where it goes or how to tell what stop I'm at? And there's just such a myriad of little problems. Isn't it weird that it's not a myriad? You're supposed to just say myriad? That seems wrong to me. But anyway, why do that when I could just walk for hours? I'd much rather walk for hours. I still fucking only just barely caught up with all the stupid podcasts and shit I listen to. It's important to walk for hours. How else do you listen to your podcasts? But yeah, what I just realized like yesterday when I was like, oh, okay, I guess I better sort out this fucking trying to put it off. Sort out the shit for this goddamn flight. The new luggage requirements are definitely stricter than before. They really are like, just pay us more for your bags. Because it was between your main bag and And you could have it's like a main bag and a carry-on, which I do have a carry-on now. I got this cool little bag that I bought on Oyama Road, and the happy road, Oyama Happy Road. And between the two of them, it has to be 7 kilograms. And I don't quite know what that means. That is one of those things where I'm a mixture of America and Canada and England. We're kind of a mix of different systems. I don't really know what kilograms mean. And I barely know what pounds mean. So even in pounds, it wouldn't help a ton. All I know is 7 kilograms is fucking nothing. It just can't possibly be. I guess if it was 7 stone, that's a lot. But it's a very small number. I'm like, fuck, I don't even know what that means, but that sounds fucking tiny. And my book bag is really fucking heavy. There's no fucking way. What am I gonna do? So I was like, I guess I could just pay for it. But it's $25 to check a bag. And it's like, I guess the thing is, it's because this is a domestic, what's the word? Not discount, but like economy airline. We just don't have those in Canada. I'm not used to this idea. I know in England they have like Ryanair and all this stuff. Other people are used to this idea that you pay nothing and you get nothing. Wow, there's a kid's playground here that's like a castle. This is really fucking cool. I am tempted to climb up into this ship, but there's some people sitting at the park. I mean, I wouldn't, but in North America I would. Goddamn right I would, but in someone else's country I don't want to get caught being the grown man. But this is a fucking really cool park. In fact, I'm going to try to take a picture of this bitch. I don't know if it'll show up well this time of night, but this looks awesome. Damn, the picture turned out pretty good. I think that might be today's Instagram post. Novel Pod on Instagram, by the way. If you'd like to see my Japan adventures, NOVELPOD. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's like a trick of my brain. Like it seems crazy to me that you can't just throw a book bag in the overhead fucking bin as part of the ticket price. But of course, the ticket price, I think converted to Canadian, I mean, I guess it still is like 70 some dollars maybe. It was 55 American each way. Where a similarly short flight from Fredericton to Montreal, a skateboarder guy went by, a similarly short flight from Fredericton to Montreal in Canada was $300. It was much more expensive. So paying for the bag, it's like still a great deal. It's really not a big deal. But I just couldn't get it past, I don't know, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, this just seems wrong. And as we'll get to, I mean, I snuck my way through the system and I easily put my giant bag with all my stuff in it in the overhead bin. There's no reason you can't do this, But again, you pay for nothing, you get nothing. I'm just not used to this style of flight. But I was just going to do it because I was like, I don't know what else to do. I don't even have a scale. I can't measure stuff. But what I started thinking is, cigarette machine. Oh, I should mention that. The one weird, interesting thing I saw on the walk here, it was all standard, super busy street stuff. But there was a machine outside of a steak shop where you could buy steaks out of the machine, frozen steaks. And at the high end, it was $40. You could get a $40 fucking steak out of a machine. It's like, that's pretty cool. I did not buy one. Oh man, there's like a little cat went across the street. I remember thinking this in 2019 when I was walking around near Yoyogi. I feel like being a cat in Japan would be very fun. Because the same way it's fun to walk around as a person, it's just so much more of an interesting environment. I feel like, again, maybe North America is not as boring as I think it is. I don't know. I mean, Norihiko was like, Chiba's boring because he lives there, And obviously cats have no conception of this. They don't care what country they're fucking walking around in, but I feel like it would be fun to be a cat in Japan. I'm not sure how many like homeless cats there are. I don't see a ton of cats, but there definitely are a bunch of homeless cats near Ikebukuro. And while all the smokers are just hanging out smoking, they just give food to the cats. I don't know. Seems cool. If I get reincarnated as a cat, if I get to pick, I'm going to say, like, yeah, give me Japan. Let's give that a try. Man, I'm probably walking so far away from my Airbnb. But whatever, I'll sort it out later. I'll figure out where I am. I was thinking, like, I'm going to have to get up early to go to the mountains. Because if it gets dark when I'm up there, I will be fucked. But it's safe to say tomorrow, I guess. We will not be doing that. I will not be getting up early tomorrow. Oh yeah, quick aside. I should also say, I was complaining about how annoying Google Maps is, and it is. But I realized that also ties into how complicated everything was to walk near the airport. Like once I got on the major roads, I only had to pull out the map every, 10 or 15 minutes. I'd just take a quick glance, make sure I hadn't gone too far. Out here, I can just walk wherever the fuck I want, and I'll just bring it up when I'm ready to go back. It was just because I was trying to maneuver on foot near the airport that I pretty much had to have the phone out the whole time, just trying to figure out what the hell was going on and why I could never seem to go in the right direction. So that contributed. Google Maps is very annoying. But it shouldn't have been that annoying. Oh, is this a karaoke place? Yeah, it just looks like a normal house. But I guess the singing is a giveaway, and then you see the sign. See, that's the thing too, when I was talking to those guys from the Buddhist sect, that's where I thought, it's like, oh, we're just having a fun conversation, because they're like, hey, what about karaoke? You got that in Canada? And it's like, yeah, we do, but it's like karaoke night at the bar. And it's like the whole bar, you like sing to the bar. It's quite different from like a karaoke booth or like a smaller karaoke thing. They're like, so interesting. And it's like, maybe I'm just easily flattered. I was like, they think it's so interesting. And I could tell them about the differences between countries. Silly me. They just wanted me to help them open the dream gate. But anyway, geez, I keep interrupting my own stories, my own pointless, stupid stories. So I've got all these coats. Well, I've got like 2 hoodies and 2 jackets. And even though I determined that it's probably 1 layer too many, because I also have some thermal shirts, I was like, you know what, I better keep them, just in case. Just in case. It's really only awkward on travel days. And I might be glad that I've got them. So then I realized, between these 4 layers, that's 8 pockets. And they all have zippers on the pockets. So I could pack these pockets full of all my belongings and zipper them up and be a ridiculous Michelin man. But I'm going to be that anyway. I don't have anywhere else to put my coats on travel days. I got to wear both my pairs of pants, which, oh yeah, that reminds me, I'm still wearing both. I didn't take off my extra layer. And wear all 4 of my coats. So that's going to happen anyway. So I tested it out, and I managed to do it. I put everything I fucking own besides my clothing in these pockets. And all that was in my big main bag was my clothes. And I'm like, hey, again, what's 7 kilograms? I don't know. This is still surprisingly a bit heavy, but it's just clothing. Surely this is under the limit. But then I still had the laptop. And with the laptop in there, it's just like, I just felt it in my bones. This is too much. It's going to be too heavy. But then I realized, because I use a bag within bag system, so my clothes were actually in a smaller knapsack in my big bag. So I just took all my clothes out, dumped them in the main book bag, and then with this small knapsack, I could put my laptop in it, wear the laptop on my back, and cover it with all my coats so no one could see that I had the laptop. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna try this. I guess I'm just gonna try to fucking have a light bag and just like sneakily have all of my heavy items, my big metal fucking hair clippers and all my dumb shit I mean, it's pretty remarkable. I guess everything I own does fit in a book bag, and at least half of the bag is clothes, probably more than half. I mean, I just don't have a lot of stuff, but I was still pretty surprised that I fit everything into these pockets. But this morning I really felt quite strong apprehension about this whole thing, because usually I find travel days are like fun travel day, because this is what I do every day anyway. I'm always just traveling, but then you got to go back to the source of origin. It's fun on a travel day. You get to go travel and you don't have to go back. You get to travel somewhere new. You just go to the airport and you stare longingly at the coffee machines, and then you sit on an airplane and it's all like, whatever, There's stressful stuff to it. But as long as you give yourself a lot of time, it's kind of fun. It's sort of exciting. And it did confirm today that, it's such a good idea to give yourself tons of time. Because my flight didn't leave till 3:30, and it feels like you got all day. So Norihiko, the Airbnb guy that, went to the izakaya with, went to sushi with yesterday, got along great with that guy. He's like, I don't have anyone else checking in today, so, take your time. It's supposed to be 10 a.m., but just leave whenever, it doesn't matter. And I was kind of going to take him up on that. But then at like 10:30, it's like, I should just go, I don't quite know how this works. The reason I was in Chiba was to be near Narita. And there is a Narita Express from Chiba Station that only stops like 7 times, takes like 40 some minutes to get there, 45 minutes. That's not bad, but just everything adds up so fast of like, even though it's close to Chiba Station, it still takes 15 minutes to walk there. Then if you miss the express, you gotta wait, 40 minutes for the next one. And then, again, just my lack of research. I could have swore in 2019 that Peach Airlines flew out of Terminal 3, the small domestic terminal at Narita. I know there's a lot of construction going on, so maybe that's in fact why. Maybe it was temporary. But I went all the way to Terminal 3 and then looked at the boards and figured out like, oh crap, they're actually in Terminal 1. It's like Terminal 2 and 3 are close together. Terminal 1 is not close. I had to go all the way back to Terminal 1. In the end, I got there with about an hour extra time to spare, which is fine. But it would have been so easy for that hour to get eaten up. And if anything went wrong for some reason, I missed my non-refundable flight, then I got a whole to-do. It's like, it would be a nightmare. It would be so awful. So when you look at it that way, I actually feel like an hour was cutting it close. An hour is not really that much time to it gets eaten up so quick. Because like I sent an Airbnb message to Norihiko and I was like, hey, sorry dude, sorry I just ran off, but thanks for everything, Wrote him a glowing review. He has a guest book. I signed his guest book, wrote nice stuff. But he was like, oh, you're already off. That's too bad. I was hoping, maybe we could, around noon or so, go hang out one last time or whatever, get lunch. Because, it seems like if you're 40 minutes from the airport and the flight's not till 3:30, it seems like you'd have time to do that type of thing. But it would have been a disaster, I was sad I didn't get to give him a better goodbye, but thank fucking God I didn't, that I followed my worrywart ways and just got there. But I woke up feeling very apprehensive about this whole plan because this is just not how I wanted to travel. I did not want to be playing fucking magic tricks and sleight of hand and trying to sneak my way through It felt like this was like I said, I'm like the Michelin Man with all my layers, but extra so with all the stuff in all the pockets and my hidden laptop. And it just felt like there's a huge potential for great shame and embarrassment if anybody caught me doing all this weird stuff, And it's like, oh God, fuck. I wish I had just I don't actually know how much the extra bag costs on the day. They said it's cheaper if you do it early on the website, and that's $25. So who the heck knows how much it would have been otherwise. But I got there and I tested the weight, and it was with just my clothes, 5 kilograms. So then I was like, well, maybe I could squeeze my laptop in there. So I put the laptop in, which again I had to take off all my coats, take this laptop off my back. And just taking off and putting on 4 coats is a fucking pain in the dick. Just trying to get all the sleeves on and off, it's fucking horrible. Oh, nice. For once, my sense of direction worked. I was like, I should start trying to walk back in the sort of general direction of where I think my Airbnb is. And then I'll check after I'm done recording this podcast and realize I'm fucking hours away. But I just walked past that shrine. I'm on the other side of it. I can't see into it from here, but sweet, I'm going the right way. Because, yeah, again, I don't know how useful my descriptions are, but like Tokyo at night, when it's all busy and crowded, it's just like lights everywhere. It's boom. But the more outskirt areas, which this part of Fukuoka especially is, it's really only traffic lights. There's some just white street lights, but not a ton of them. It's pretty dark. And you just see the green and the red walk lights and traffic lights in the distances around. So everything just has an eerie green hue, but it's mostly just really dark. It's very, again, spooky, but very cool. But yeah, I added in the laptop and it was still under 7. But then just this little day bag that I bought on Oyama, it feels so light. There's like nothing in it, you know? It's like just cords and a battery fucking charger and stuff. I don't know, headphones. Apparently it's not as light as it seems because that pushed it way over 7. So I had to go back to sneaking the laptop under my coat. So yeah, like literally that's all that I could fit is this tiny little day bag that is very light and just a book bag with clothes in it. That would keep me under 7 kilograms. Like 7, it's fucking nothing. It's absurd. But I did that and it worked out okay. I got past the baggage part, but then I go upstairs and you go down a long hallway and they're like, okay, time for security. And I didn't recall there being security, but I mean, of course, I guess there is. I was just thinking of domestic, like, I don't know, when I used to take the bus from Fredericton to Montreal, which is not a route that exists anymore. But, you know, it's like, oh, it's so nice to take the bus because you don't have to go through security. You just get on the bus. Although that can backfire because famously there was a guy who got his fucking head cut off on a bus in Canada once. Look that up for a bad time. So of course there's a security check. There should be. But I was like, oh fuck, I can't go through security. You know, the automated voice is like, take off your jacket and take your laptop out of your bag and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, fuck, I cannot go through security like this because all of my pockets are literally packed full of stuff. Of literally everything I own in the world are in these pockets. I'm like at the end of Labyrinth, toward the end, when that lady comes in with all the pots and pans and stuff hanging off of her, and she's trying to convince Jennifer to, you don't need your brother. Look at you, have all your wonderful trinkets. You know, that's what it was, like a hermit crab man. Like, I just can't put my jackets through security and have them see all this stuff in the pockets. It's so bizarre. Technically, sure, it's your pockets. You're allowed to put whatever you want in your pockets, but it's very evident something fucking weird is going on. This fucking guy is trying to pull something. Does he just really not want to pay to check his bag this bad? What is this fucking idiot up to? And that is the exact shame and reprisal I was afraid could happen. So luckily, because it was like a long hallway before you got to security, I just took a few minutes to basically just reinstate my big heavy bag. I just took all the stuff out of my pockets, got everything back into the main book bag. So now I'm back to my mega book bag that's crazy heavy. But because I already got through the wait station, it was fine. And I just went through security and no one was any the wiser. And then of course on the plane it was fine. There was so much fucking room for bags. It was no problem at all. But instead of a nice, fun travel day, a nice, easy flight from Tokyo to Fukuoka, it was like I was a weird hermit crab hobo having to shift around. It's like when you see homeless guys walking around with like a shopping cart full of stuff. And it's like, do you really need all that stuff? Your life would be a lot easier if you didn't have to push around all that stuff. What is all that stuff? I always want to like audit their stuff. Like, what is your stuff? I don't have that much stuff. What's going on here? Although I have a bank card and an Airbnb, so I don't mean to shame. I understand it's tough out there. But it was a dumb, stressful, weird day. So I think on the way back, I'm just going to pay for the stupid fucking bag. Because not only is it just like, what am I fucking doing? But the Fukuoka side is way smaller. You know, like I literally was like a transformer. I transformed from pocket-filled weird guy back to normal heavy book bag guy. But there's no way to do all that in Fukuoka. There is no long hallway to go through. You can't just go off to the side and have everyone ignore you. It's all right there. It's a very small airport. So I don't think I could get away with these shenanigans anyway, and I just fuck it. I guess because I did it once. Now it's like half price, you know? It's not $25 to check a bag, it's $12 or $13. It's like whatever. Now I'm just paying the $25 for both ways, and that's not so bad. So yeah, I don't think I'll be doing this again because it was an unpleasant experience. I managed it, I pulled it off, but it was stupid and embarrassing and shameful. And not something I would even remotely recommend to anyone. Just pay for the bag. So they do have a more expensive ticket option that includes a checked bag. I don't know how much it is, but I just got to accept that's me. That's who I am. I got to pay for the other ticket. And again, it's all just a trick of my own brain. It's still very affordable. It's not a big deal. I'm just fucking stupid. So anyway, that's today's adventure. I kind of thought maybe tying into that, I did talk to, for a while last night, the other people staying at my Airbnb in Chiba, Anna and her brother from Colombia, currently living in Australia. They did a very different style of traveling, which is probably a much more common way to see Japan. And I'm not sure how much useful information I can impart because it's all secondhand just from what they told me. But how much useful information is there at all in this podcast? It's all dumb shit like, hey, here's how to be a hermit crab at the airport. Here's how to walk from the airport. It's all just dumb crap that only I do. So even vague information from them will no doubt be of a far higher quality than anything I could fucking tell you. But yeah, it was neat because they used the JR pass to take trains around. They didn't fly anywhere. And it's like, oh, yeah, you know, there's something to that. That could be, I don't know if I would ever, I just don't know. It's something to look into. But this episode is surely long enough. And yeah, I just wanted to tell the story of the airport. But now I went off the beaten path again a bit. Let's see if I'm anywhere near my Airbnb. It's only 11:15. That's not that bad. If I went home and went straight to bed, I probably could get up early tomorrow and start my mountain hiking life, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Oh, not too bad. It's there's a park here. Noma Oike Park. Nomaoike Park. And that was the cutoff point where it's like, okay, now there's like a fork in the road because there's this park with a big pond in it. That's what got me off of the major route and toward Airbnb land. And I'm walking back toward that park just on the other side. So yeah, I'm in the hood. I'm not too far. Not bad at all. All right, well, welcome to Fukuoka. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, but tune in next episode and we'll find out together. Good night.